Isn't that right, Lance?
Sorry, Tommy, this is Vice City. This is business.
And run away with my tail between my legs?
No. I just wanted to piss you off before I kill you.
Hey everyone, my name is Bruce and I'm your host for this video. Welcome to episode 2 of our nostalgia-fueled series, where we dive deep into the golden vault of gaming history. Today, we're talking about the legends, the 15 best old-school games that still hold up, even 20 years later. That's right, these are more than your dusty cartridges or forgotten discs. These are timeless classics that still pack a punch in gameplay, storytelling, and sheer fun. Think about it. How many things from 20 years ago can still make you laugh, cry, or rage quit? These games were ahead of their time and still managed to bring the heat in today's high-def, ray-traced VR world. We're here to celebrate those gems that remind us why we fell in love with gaming in the first place. So grab your favorite snack, dust off those virtual joysticks, and get ready for a blast from the past. And hey, if you're vibing with this trip down memory lane, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more gaming goodness, and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos. Let's get into it.
Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece.
God of War, 2005. Released in 2005, God of War stormed onto the PlayStation 2 like Zeus's thunderbolt, revolutionizing the action-adventure genre with its epic tale of revenge, gore, and Greek mythology gone wild. You play as Kratos, basically the angriest man in ancient Greece. And trust me, he's got some good reasons for his perpetual bad mood. This chrome-domed warrior starts his journey as Ares' personal punching bag before deciding to climb the mythological corporate ladder to become the new god of war himself. The game's combat system is where it really flexes its muscles, pun intended, just like Kratos. Armed with the iconic Blades of Chaos, think deadly yo-yos but way cooler, players can string together devastating combos that would make even the gods wince. The action element is pure adrenaline, with a combo system that's deeper than the Mediterranean Sea. As you progress, you unlock new moves and magic abilities that make you feel increasingly godlike, without ever making the game feel like a walk through Mount Olympus. God of War is still incredibly playable today with its perfect mix of visceral combat, clever environmental puzzles, and a narrative that hits harder than a Minotaur's headbutt. The fixed camera angles, which could have aged like spoiled ambrosia, actually create cinematically perfect moments that still look impressive. The game's interpretation of Greek mythology is about as faithful as a Hollywood adaptation. Which is to say, it takes creative liberties that make everything more awesome. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, 2002. This iconic game was released in October 2002, where players were transported to a Miami-inspired criminal paradise that would become one of gaming's most iconic settings. Set in 1986, you play as Tommy Vercetti, a former mobster fresh out of prison who gets caught up in a drug deal gone wrong and must build his criminal empire from scratch. The game's presentation masterfully captures the essence of 1980s Miami, from the vibrant streets to the swaying palm trees. This attention to period detail extends beyond mere aesthetics. The game drips with cultural touchstones that make it feel like a playable version of Scarface or Miami Vice. The game introduced many revolutionary features to the series, including the ability to purchase properties and businesses to build your criminal empire. The soundtrack deserves special mention as one of gaming's greatest achievements. The carefully curated selection of 1980s hits across multiple radio stations creates an immersive time capsule that perfectly complements the gameplay. While some aspects of the gameplay mechanics have aged, particularly the shooting controls and camera system, the core experience remains remarkably playable.
The virus broke out in a nearby mountain community, Raccoon City, and hit the peaceful little town with a devastating blow crippling its very foundation.
Resident Evil 4, 2005. Resident Evil 4 completely revolutionized not just the survival horror genre, but third-person shooters as a whole. This game took the series in a bold new direction, trading the cramped corridors and fixed camera angles of its predecessors for a more action-oriented approach. You step into the government-issued shoes of Leon S. Kennedy, a man with a mission and a hairstyle that defies both gravity and the fashion sense of rural Spain. Tasked with rescuing the president's daughter from a cult that makes your average doomsday preppers look like amateur hour, Leon finds himself in a village where the locals are about as friendly as a hungry Wolverine with a toothache. What makes RE4 still a blast to play today is its perfect balance of tension, action, and campy B-movie charm. The over-the-shoulder camera perspective was groundbreaking at the time, offering a more immersive and precise aiming system that has since become industry standard. The game's pacing is masterful, alternating between heart-pounding action sequences and moments of eerie calm that have you checking every corner for that one villager who always seems to have a pitchfork handy. The inventory management system, while initially seeming like a game of lethal Tetris, adds a layer of strategy that keeps you constantly weighing the pros and cons of carrying that extra box of ammo versus that shiny new grenade launcher. And let's not forget the merchant, the mysterious, gravelly-voiced trader who pops up in the most unlikely places, ready to sell you upgrades with his iconic, "What are you buying?" proving that even in the midst of a bioweapon apocalypse, capitalism finds a way. With its 9.4 out of 10 user score on Metacritic and numerous Game of the Year awards, Resident Evil 4 remains a masterclass in game design, proving that sometimes the best way to breathe new life into a franchise is to give it a complete overhaul, and maybe throw in a few chainsaws for good measure.
I will ask again, where is Isabella Angelina?
What, her? Look, she's not...
Freedom Fighters, 2003. Freedom Fighters came out in 2003, and it is a third-person tactical shooter that puts players in an alternate history where the Soviet Union invades and occupies New York City. Developed by IO Interactive and published by EA Games, the game casts you as Christopher Stone, a plumber who becomes the unlikely leader of a resistance movement against the Soviet forces. The game's standout feature is its innovative squad command system, allowing players to recruit and control up to 12 AI companions. This system is remarkably intuitive, with simple button presses assigning squad members to attack, defend, or regroup. The gameplay loop revolves around liberating neighborhoods, establishing bases, and gradually pushing back against Soviet control. The game's atmosphere is meticulously crafted, from Soviet propaganda posters lining the streets to the haunting orchestral soundtrack by Jesper Kyd. The game's environmental design creates a uniquely unsettling alternate reality that remains visually distinctive even today.
Again, no password. I can't seem to get any real business.
Whoa, slow down, babe.
Devil May Cry, 2001. Once this game came out in 2001, it revolutionized the action-adventure genre by introducing a new style of combat that would influence games for decades to come. Originally conceived as a Resident Evil title, the project evolved into its own unique IP when the development team realized their ambitious combat system wouldn't fit the survival horror genre. The game puts players in control of Dante, a half-demon demon hunter with supernatural abilities. The combat system is built around an innovative combination of swordplay and gunplay, with players encouraged to create stylish, varied combat sequences. The game introduced a revolutionary ranking system that grades players based on their combat performance, with rankings from dull to stylish, encouraging players to vary their attacks and maintain aggressive combat flows. This system would become a standard feature in many action games that followed. The game's difficulty is carefully balanced through a gradual progression system. Players can unlock new weapons and abilities by collecting red orbs from defeated enemies, with their increasing power matching the rising challenge level. For those seeking even greater challenges, completing the game unlocks harder difficulty modes, including the notorious Dante Must Die mode. Devil May Cry was both a critical and commercial success, receiving high praise for its innovative gameplay and becoming a PlayStation 2 greatest hits title. The game has sold over 3 million copies and spawned multiple sequels, establishing itself as one of Capcom's flagship franchises. Its influence extends beyond its own series, with many subsequent action games, including God of War, citing Devil May Cry as a major inspiration. Ninja Gaiden, 2004. Ninja Gaiden redefined the action game genre with its punishing difficulty and sophisticated combat mechanics. Developed by Team Ninja, this reimagining of the classic NES series transformed Ryu Hayabusa's adventures into a masterclass of precise combat and acrobatic ninja action. The game follows Master Ninja Ryu Hayabusa on his quest to recover the stolen Dark Dragon Blade and avenge the slaughter of his clan. Set in a futuristic version of the 21st century, players control Ryu through 16 challenging chapters, each packed with increasingly difficult enemies and spectacular boss battles. The game's difficulty is legendary, with even basic enemies capable of quickly overwhelming unprepared players. The game's technical achievements were groundbreaking for 2004, running at a consistent 60 frames per second while rendering detailed environments and fluid character animations. The visuals were praised for their cutting-edge quality, with imaginative scenery and great-looking character designs that made it one of the best-looking games of its time. Ninja Gaiden received universal acclaim upon release, earning a 94 out of 100 on Metacritic. Critics praised its bleeding-edge graphics, great sound, and incredibly deep, challenging, and rewarding gameplay. The game's influence can be seen in numerous modern action titles, particularly in how it raised the bar for combat complexity and precision in the genre. The success of Ninja Gaiden led to multiple enhanced editions, including Ninja Gaiden Black, which added even more challenges and refined the already exceptional combat system. Its impact on the gaming industry is undeniable, with many subsequent action games, including the Dark Souls series and Doom Eternal, citing Ninja Gaiden as a major inspiration.
Kill him.
Prince of Persia: Warrior Within, 2004. Released in 2004, this one marked a dramatic shift in tone for the series, transforming the once lighthearted prince into a darker, more brooding character. Set 7 years after the sands of time, the game follows the prince as he desperately tries to escape his fate while being relentlessly pursued by the Dahaka, a terrifying creature that hunts those who dare to manipulate time. The game's combat system received a significant overhaul, introducing a more brutal and sophisticated fighting mechanic that allows players to dual-wield weapons and execute devastating combos. The prince can now perform acrobatic moves during combat, using walls and poles to deliver stylish attacks, while the enhanced parkour system offers more freedom in exploration. The time manipulation mechanics return with new abilities, allowing players to navigate between past and present versions of locations. The game's darker atmosphere was controversial at release, with even original Prince of Persia creator Jordan Mechner expressing disappointment with its violent direction. However, this tonal shift served a narrative purpose, showing the prince's desperate struggle against fate itself. The game features multiple endings, with the true canonical ending only accessible by collecting all life upgrades and obtaining the Water Sword. World of Warcraft, 2004. World of Warcraft, launched in 2004, revolutionized the MMORPG genre by creating an accessible yet deep gaming experience that would dominate the industry for years to come. The game transformed Blizzard's Warcraft RTS universe into a vast, persistent world, attracting over 100 million registered accounts throughout its lifetime. The game's success stems from its carefully balanced design, offering content for both casual and hardcore players through 9 original character classes, each with abilities and roles that create interdependence in group content. This diversity in gameplay options, combined with regular content updates, has kept players engaged for nearly 2 decades. WoW's evolutionary approach to content delivery has been key to its longevity. Through 8 major expansions, the game has continuously added new features, zones, and gameplay mechanics while maintaining its core appeal. Each expansion effectively refreshes the game experience while building upon the established foundation, from the Burning Crusade to the latest additions. The social infrastructure of WoW became one of its defining features. The game's guild system, group content, and community features created lasting social bonds among players. At its peak, WoW boasted over 12 million active subscribers, demonstrating its unprecedented success in the MMO market. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, 2005. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory was released in 2005, and it represents the pinnacle of stealth gaming, perfecting the formula that made the series famous. Developed by Ubisoft Montreal, this third entry in the franchise refined and expanded upon its predecessor's mechanics while introducing revolutionary new features. The game follows Sam Fisher, voiced by the gravelly-voiced Michael Ironside, through a compelling techno-thriller narrative involving information warfare and international espionage. The story unfolds naturally through mission objectives, computer files, and interrogations, creating an immersive espionage experience that rivals classic spy thrillers. Players can approach objectives through multiple routes, whether crawling through vents, hacking security systems, or using Sam's extensive arsenal of gadgets. The game introduces innovative features like the sound meter, which allows players to gauge their noise level against ambient sounds, and the EMF vision mode for detecting electrical devices. The combat and stealth mechanics received significant improvements, including the ability to attack from any direction and a more sophisticated knife combat system. The game no longer requires hiding bodies in shadows, though keeping them out of sight remains tactically important. Chaos Theory earned universal acclaim upon release, scoring 92 on Metacritic. It's often considered the series' peak, offering the most satisfying stealth gameplay in the franchise. Metroid Prime, 2002. Metroid Prime completely changed the Metroid series by successfully translating its signature exploration-based gameplay into a first-person perspective. Developed by Retro Studios and Nintendo, this GameCube masterpiece achieved the seemingly impossible task of bringing a beloved 2D franchise into 3D while maintaining its core identity. The game follows bounty hunter Samus Aran investigating a space pirate facility on Talon 4, with players experiencing the world through Samus's visor complete with environmental effects like steam and condensation. The innovative scanning system allows players to gather information about the environment, enemies, and lore, creating an unprecedented level of immersion. The lock-on targeting system elegantly solved the traditional challenges of first-person platform jumping, while the various visor modes added strategic depth to both combat and exploration. The game's technical achievements were groundbreaking for 2002, featuring detailed environments, particle effects, and dynamic lighting that pushed the GameCube's capabilities to their limits. The atmospheric soundtrack dynamically adapts to different situations, enhancing the sense of isolation and discovery that defines the Metroid series.
Satellite coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Battlefield 2, 2005. This game's core gameplay revolves around the Conquest mode, where two teams compete to control key points on expansive maps. Players can choose from 7 distinct classes, each with its own weapons and abilities, allowing for diverse tactical approaches. The introduction of persistent character progression and weapon unlocks added a compelling long-term goal for players, encouraging continued engagement. Battlefield 2's most significant innovation was its robust command and squad system. The commander role allows one player per team to view the battlefield from a strategic perspective, call in support abilities, and coordinate attacks. The squad system enables groups of up to 6 players to work together under a squad leader, who can act as a mobile spawn point and relay orders from the commander. This hierarchical structure promoted teamwork and communication on an unprecedented scale for the genre. The game's technical achievements were equally impressive. Its graphics were considered cutting-edge for 2005, with detailed environments and impressive particle effects. The sound design was particularly praised, with realistic weapon sounds and atmospheric audio that enhanced the immersion. Battlefield 2 received critical acclaim, with many reviewers highlighting its balanced gameplay, vast maps, and emphasis on teamwork. The game's success led to multiple expansion packs and booster packs, adding new factions, maps, and vehicles. Its influence on the FPS genre was significant, with many subsequent games adopting similar squad-based mechanics and large-scale warfare concepts.
Space ruptures directly off our battle cluster.
Master Chief, defend this station.
Cortana, what exactly am I looking at? That is another Halo. So this is what my father found.
Halo 2, 2004. Developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft Game Studios for the Xbox, Halo 2 was the highly anticipated sequel to the critically acclaimed Halo Combat Evolved. It was released in 2004 and changed the first-person shooter genre and set new standards for online multiplayer gaming. The game's campaign continued the story of Master Chief while introducing a new playable character, the Arbiter, providing players with dual perspectives on the ongoing conflict between humans and the Covenant. Halo 2's narrative expanded the Halo universe, delving deeper into Covenant politics and the nature of the Flood threat. The multiplayer component was groundbreaking, leveraging Xbox Live to deliver a seamless online experience with features like matchmaking, rankings, and clan support. This system became the template for console online multiplayer for years to come, influencing the development of Xbox Live and other online gaming services. The game introduced several new gameplay mechanics, including dual-wielding weapons, vehicle hijacking, and an expanded arsenal. These additions, along with refined combat and level design, created a more dynamic and strategic gameplay experience. This was a massive commercial success, selling 2.4 million copies within the first 24 hours of release, generating $125 million in sales and becoming the fastest-selling US media product at the time. The game's popularity and longevity were evident in its player base, with the Xbox Live servers for Halo 2 remaining active until 2010, far beyond the typical lifespan for online console games of that era.
The darkness comes. Then he's all mine.
It's been a long wait, Solid Snake.
I didn't kill your father.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, 2001. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, which was released in 2001, transformed the stealth action genre with its groundbreaking gameplay mechanics and complex storyline. Developed by Konami under Hideo Kojima's direction, the game pushed the boundaries of both storytelling and technical achievement on the PlayStation 2. The game's narrative unfolds in two distinct chapters. The first follows Solid Snake infiltrating a tanker carrying a new Metal Gear model, while the second chapter, set 2 years later, introduces players to Raiden, a rookie agent tasked with rescuing the US president from a terrorist group called the Sons of Liberty. This controversial protagonist switch was part of a larger narrative experiment examining themes of information control and digital manipulation. The game's technical achievements were groundbreaking for 2001. Players could perform a wide range of actions, from tiptoeing and crawling to hanging from railings and dragging unconscious enemies. The environment became more interactive, with players able to shoot out lights, create distractions, and use weather conditions to their advantage. MGS2's influence extends beyond its gameplay innovations. The game was an immediate commercial and critical success, selling over 6 million copies and receiving near-universal praise. Its storyline, dealing with themes of information control, artificial intelligence, and digital manipulation, proved remarkably prescient for today's digital age. Next two games are not 20-year-old but close to our hearts.
A mistake I do not intend to repeat.
God of War 2, 2007. This game stands as one of the PlayStation 2's most ambitious and technically impressive titles, arriving near the end of the console's lifecycle. Developed by Santa Monica Studio, this sequel expanded upon its predecessor's foundation while pushing the PS2 hardware to its absolute limits. The game follows Kratos, now the God of War, as he seeks revenge against Zeus after being stripped of his godhood and cast into Hades. The story talks about Greek mythology with intense action, introducing iconic characters like Perseus, Theseus, and the Sisters of Fate. The story's scope and scale surpass the original, with Kratos battling his way through legendary locations including the Island of Creation and the Palace of the Fates. The game introduced new magical abilities, weapons, and combat moves while maintaining the fluid, visceral combat that made the original famous. The addition of the Golden Fleece for deflecting attacks and the Icarus Wings for aerial combat expanded both combat and exploration options significantly. The game's technical achievements were extraordinary for the aging PS2 hardware. The development team managed to create larger environments, more detailed character models, and more enemies on screen than its predecessor, all while maintaining smooth performance. The game's set pieces, including the opening battle with the Colossus of Rhodes, set new standards for epic scale in action games.
You don't do deals with outlaws, boy.
Yeah, you do! You are the bounty hunter, huh? Your country loves to make trouble in mine.
Red Dead Redemption, 2010. Last but not least, we have a game that stands as one of gaming's most significant achievements, developed by a massive team of approximately 1,000 people over 5 years under Rockstar Games' direction. The game follows John Marston, a former outlaw forced to hunt down his old gang members to save his family from government agents. The game masterfully tackles ideas of redemption, the cycle of violence, and the death of the Old West, all while telling a deeply personal story about a man trying to escape his violent past. The narrative spans across a vast open world that showcases the transformation of the American frontier in 1911, as civilization encroaches upon the last vestiges of the Wild West. The game's technical achievements were extraordinary for its time, featuring a massive script of 1,500 pages written over 2 years. The development team created approximately 200 musical tracks composed by Bill Elm and Woody Jackson, contributing to the game's immersive atmosphere. The attention to detail extended to the dialogue, with researchers developing a style guide based on authentic phrases from the time period. The game's influence on the industry was profound, setting new standards for open-world design, storytelling, and character development. Its success led to several downloadable content additions, including the popular Undead Nightmare expansion, which added a non-canonical zombie storyline to the game's world. And there you have it, folks. The 15 old-school games that prove age is just a number. These classics continue to wow us with their charm, gameplay, and just enough challenge to keep us on our toes. They're a reminder that great design and storytelling are timeless. What's your favorite retro game that still holds up? Did we miss any legendary picks that deserve a shout-out? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your takes. And hey, if you're about to dust off an old console or boot up a nostalgic title after watching this, consider yourself officially a certified retro gamer. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more epic gaming content, and ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when the next episode drops. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, keep gaming and stay awesome.
How can this be? The Sisters of Fate have aided you. Unexpected.
The sisters are dead.